Good morning. And happy Mother's Day to all our mothers and grandmothers. And thank you to the generations of mothers who came before them. Welcome to the Windward Buddhist Temple Family Dharma Service. My name is Naomi. We will begin with the ringing of the temple bell or Kansho that signifies the beginning of the temple service. It is a deep and sacred ritual steeped in ancient tradition. It is the calling of the people to come together to listen to the Dharma of teachings. The temple bell represents the gratitude and deep appreciation of the members, friends, and guests of the Windward Buddhist Temple. Please sit quietly in your seat. If you are able, please rise for the meditation followed by the chanting of the Vandana Ti-Sarana by the congregation in Pali and English in the red Jodo Shinshu service book on page 7.
I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Just as a mother would protect her life with her own child, her only child, so one should cultivate an unbounded mind towards all beings and loving kindness towards all the world. One should cultivate an unbounded mind above and below and across, without obstruction, without enmity, without rivalry. The words of Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Please be seated. Today's sutra is verses reaffirming the vows in the Jodo Shinshu Service book on page 117.
Should I not provide to all for countless kalpas to come, aid in times of suffering? May I not attain Buddhahood, I will reach enlightenment, but unless my Buddha name resounds throughout the universe, may I not attain Buddhahood. I will practice the noble path, wisely, mindfully, free of greed, seek to reach the supreme way, be a guide to one and all. May my power shine great light to illumine and dispel the darkness of the three poisons and save all from suffering. With eyes of wisdom I'll remove the darkness of ignorance. I will close all evil paths, open gates of highest good. When I attain Buddhahood, light will shine throughout all lands, light brighter than sun and moon, outshining all heavenly light, giving my virtues to all, not forsaking anyone. I will proclaim the Dharma like the roar of a great lion, bowing before all Buddha. steadfastly gaining virtues, with wisdom fulfilling my vows, I shall be a guide to all, like the wisdom of my teacher. May my wisdom also shine all throughout the universe and illumine one and all. If I shall fulfill these vows, may all lands tremble with joy. From the heavens, wondrous flowers rain down upon all the lands. Aman The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namana, 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 namana.
If you are able, please rise for the recitation Shinshu Pledge II that is in the same Jodo Shinshu service book on page 6. Entrusting in the vow of the Buddha and reciting the sacred name,
I shall proceed through the journey of life, strength and joy, revering the light of the Buddha and reflecting upon my imperfect self. I shall strive to live a life of gratitude, following the teachings of the Buddha and discerning the right path. I shall spread the true Dharma, rejoicing in the compassion of the Buddha, respecting and aiding others. I shall do my best to work towards the welfare of society. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Please continue to stand for the Gatha Arigatai in the praises of the Buddha book on page 14. One of our favorite speakers for this Mother's Day service is our member, Jennifer Kane.
Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. I hear a little one who wants to sing that song one more time. Please join me in aspiration. We take refuge in Amida Buddha, whose wisdom and compassion is so complete that we are known and accepted just as we are. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Das. Namo Das. I'm just going to do a short Dharma talk this morning and piggyback on last week's Dharma message from Prudence about letting go and the story about Puhi the eel who learned to let go of his grievances. It's a wonderful story. In Reverend Doctor book Jewels, which I think everybody's familiar with, and I know there's a copy in our library as well. He writes about several popular passages, metaphors, and stories that are sure to be a benefit to us, especially in times of doubt, anxiety, and disappointment. These can be effective tools to develop and strengthen our path. I find these to be helpful examples of thinking and living that I'm able to use in building and strengthening my foundation, and to remind me to be grounded, stable, and balanced in this bumpy road of life. As we all know, life can be a bumpy road, and there are times that bring us all to a point of doubt, self-doubt, anxiety, and disappointment. There are all kinds of bumps. There's day-to-day life occurrences, which we probably all have to put up with. Traffic, sometimes rude people, moods, my own moods, and the moods of others. Some bumps can seem to come out of the blue, all of a sudden and unexpected. Many bumps on the road of our lives are global, such as COVID, politics, economy, etc. There are challenges that are social and shared, while others can be quite personal and can include difficulties that are financial, or with our health, or injury, or so on. In a Buddhist scripture collection, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Majjhima Nikaya, these consist of discourses attributed to the Buddha and his disciples. There's a story called The Poison Arrow. See if I do this right. Ryan taught me how to do this today. There it is. Okay. Suppose a poisoned arrow pierced a man, and his relatives and friends got together to call a surgeon to have the arrow removed and the wound treated. But what if the wounded man objects, saying, "Wait a minute, before you pull it out, I want to know, who shot this arrow? Was it a man or a woman? Was it someone of noble birth, or was it a peasant? What was the bow made of? Was it a big bow or a small bow that shot that arrow? What was it made of, wood or bamboo? What was the bowstring made of? Was it made of fiber or gut? What was the arrow made of, rattan or reed? What feathers were used? Before you extract the arrow, I want to know all these things." Well, before all this information can be secured, no doubt, the poison will have time to circulate through his entire body, and the man would probably die. The first duty is to remove the arrow and prevent its poison from spreading. What is a poison arrow? Well, it can be many things, not just a literal arrow. It can be a harsh word, being policed or controlled, words that feel like scolding. An example of a poison arrow, someone said something unwelcome that came across and hurtful to me. "Oh, I've been shot." Now, how quickly am I going to pull that arrow out and tend to my wound? How am I taking care of myself? Or am I analyzing and ruminating and letting the poison of it all fester? This passage can really help to try to move on and to lighten up a bit. Because if I'm holding on to an offense, if I'm going over it in my head, if I keep talking about it, then I'm the one who's letting it grow and fester. And when I do that, I'm actually shooting myself with a second arrow as well. Because then I'm making the wound worse. I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not allowing mending. I'm spreading the poison in my own body. I'm causing the festering. Whether or not my hurt and anger are justified, it's my choice to remember kindness, if not to the offender, at least to myself. This really made me think of Puhi the Eel, that wonderful book that Prudence read for us. And it saved his life. He let go and he saved his life. And that was really, really about the same story that we're told by the scriptures. Another passage I really like from Tanaka Sensei's book that helps me on life's bumpy road is from the Dhammapada, which is a collection of sayings from the Buddha. The greater victory. To conquer oneself is a greater victory than to conquer thousands in a battle. The battle is not with others. Even those that may be trying to control you, or the policing, or any type of something that comes off harsh. And this includes our global predicaments and everything. Controlling others is a false victory. It is quite important to be able to see that, whether I'm doing it or it's being dumped upon me by someone else. Knowing myself and controlling myself, now that's valuable. Not being affected or infected by someone trying to exert their control over me or places or things. They're obviously upset and maybe they're not happy. Maybe I can remember this and see them with compassion rather than being hurt and seeing them as being rude, mean, or offensive. This may be difficult in larger situations, but in personal situations, we can practice this. What others think of me is none of my business, and that's a hard one for all of us to remember at times. So rather than marinating in hurt feelings or questioning my own sensibility, both the poison arrow metaphor and the greater victory passage remind us and help us to buffer our path. And let's remember some of the final words that Buddha left for his disciples before he died. Make yourself the lamp. Make the teachings the lamp. The Buddha taught us to believe in ourselves by saying, make yourself the lamp, which is based on the truth. Make the teachings the lamp. The Buddha trusted our capacity to understand the truth directly and personally. He discouraged us not to simply believe in what someone else says is true. His confidence in us was due partly by the jewel within each of us. All of these teachings really help me to All of these teachings help me not only to practice the middle path, but also to stay out of extremism, to practice self-love, and to remind myself of the jewel that I am amongst all the jewels that we all are. Please join me in aspiration. We take refuge in Amida Buddha, whose wisdom and compassion is so complete that we are known and accepted just as we are. Namo Buddha. Namandas, namandas, namandas. Thank you, and I hope you all enjoy this beautiful, sunny Mother's Day.
Thank you, Jennifer, for making the written word and the spoken word real. Thank you. If you are able, please rise for the Gatha, Hotokesama 2 in the Praises of the Buddha book on page 93, and then continue to stand for the Nembutsu in the Jodo Shinshu Service book on page 145.
Hotokesama sentient beings think on Amida just as a child thinks of its mother. They indeed see the Tathagata, who is never distant, both in the present and in the future. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo No, Namo No.
Good morning, Dennis.
Morning, everybody. Happy Mother's Day. Hope you all, mothers and fathers and everybody, have a nice day. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, not only mothers have a great day, but also kudos to all the guys that have to do the honeydews. Gotta step up today, guys. Thank you, Jen, for your message. Thank you, Reverend Saul. Naomi, thank you. David was a greeter. Thank you. Prudence rang the Kansho. And of course, Lisa played the piano, and Ryan is recording the service. Next Sunday will be our Gotange service to celebrate the birthday of Shinran Shonin, the founder of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. We will have a guest speaker, Reverend Tatsuo Muneto. Mahalo to everyone who helped yesterday with our Earth Day project of picking up trash along Kuule Road. Thanks to our enthusiastic volunteers, we were able to complete everything in less than an hour. It was a hot morning. Thank goodness we came back, the temple, we left the air conditioner on. We had some nice chilled watermelon, so thank goodness for that. Regarding our precious earth, let's help by being green and reducing waste. If you aren't already bringing your own plates, cups, mugs, and utensils to enjoy the refreshments, please start doing so. Also, please take your items home to be cleaned and ready for the next service. For those who already are doing so, your efforts are appreciated. The temple's expenses of purchasing compostable paper plates, cups, and utensils will be reduced. Your cooperation will be greatly appreciated. Thank you. After refreshment today, we'll be playing bingo. So good luck to everyone. Finally, today being Mother's Day, we have little gifts or goodies. So as you leave the hall, there's a basket on the table there. So help yourself, mothers, or anyone else who wants. Okay, now it's time to have words of thanksgiving. We are truly grateful for this wonderful food, a gift of life. May we share its benefits with all beings. As we partake of this food, let us remember Amida Buddha's compassion, which surrounds all people and all forms of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Itadakimasu. Thank you.